He was a phantom, a whisper in the wind, a name spoken with fear, respect, and a touch of awe. Billy the Kid. Born Henry McCarty, he came to embody the Wild West, a land of sprawling plains, dusty saloons, and the sharp crack of gunfire. His story, a tapestry woven from truth and legend, continues to captivate. Billy the Kid. The name itself conjures images of a gunslinger, quick on the draw, his eyes reflecting the harsh beauty of the American frontier. He lived fast, died young, and left behind a legacy shrouded in mystery. Was he a cold-blooded killer or a victim of circumstance? A folk hero or a ruthless outlaw? The answer, like the man himself, remains elusive. Join us now as we journey back to the untamed frontier, following the dusty trail of Billy the Kid. Prepare yourself for a tale of gunfights, adventure, and the enduring allure of the Wild West. Henry McCarty, the boy who would become Billy the Kid, entered this world cloaked in obscurity. Born in New York City in 1859, his early life was marked by hardship and loss. The death of his father plunged the family into poverty, forcing them to roam westward in search of a better life. They found themselves in the burgeoning silver mining town of Silver City, New Mexico. Tragedy struck again when young Henry, barely a teenager, lost his mother to tuberculosis. Alone and desperate, Henry drifted from town to town, scraping by on odd jobs. He fell in with a rough crowd, men hardened by the frontier, their lives governed by a different code. It was during these formative years that Henry McCarty began his transformation into Billy the Kid. His first brush with the law came at the tender age of 16, a minor theft that foreshadowed the darker path that lay ahead. The flames of conflict were already raging when Billy the Kid arrived in Lincoln County, New Mexico in 1877. The Lincoln County War, a bitter feud between rival factions vying for economic control, had engulfed the region in a maelstrom of violence and bloodshed. On one side stood the established cattle ranchers, known as the House, a powerful group that had long held sway over the region's resources and politics. Arrayed against them were a group of newcomers, including merchants, lawyers, and ranchers seeking to break the House's stranglehold on power. Billy, drawn into the conflict by a sense of adventure and loyalty to his friends, joined the ranks of the Regulators, a vigilante group fighting against the House. He quickly earned a reputation as a fearless and skilled gunman, his name whispered with both respect and fear. The Lincoln County War raged for months, a brutal and bloody affair that left dozens dead. With each gunfight, each daring escape, Billy the Kid's notoriety grew. Newspapers, eager for sensational stories from the wild frontier, seized upon his exploits, painting him as a Robin Hood figure, a charismatic outlaw who fought for the underdog. His reputation as a deadly gunslinger, while exaggerated, spread like wildfire. The stories, embellished with each retelling, spoke of his lightning-fast draw, his uncanny ability to escape even the most dire situations. Despite the bloodshed and violence that surrounded him, Billy possessed a certain charisma, a youthful charm that made him both feared and admired. He was known to be a skilled gambler, a smooth talker, and a surprisingly polite and courteous young man when not engaged in a gunfight. The Lincoln County War was more than just a personal feud. It was a microcosm of the larger struggle playing out across the American West. The Regulators, with Billy the Kid among their ranks, represented a challenge to the established order, a rebellion against the corrupt power brokers who sought to control the region. The House, led by the ruthless businessman James Dolan and backed by the powerful Santa Fe Ring, fought tooth and nail to maintain their grip on power. They control the courts, the law enforcement, and even the territorial government, using their influence to crush any opposition. The regulators, outgunned and outmaneuvered, fought back with grit and determination. They ambushed supply wagons, raided house strongholds, and engaged in running gun battles with their enemies. Billy, despite his youth, proved to be a valuable asset, his courage and quick wit earning him the respect of his fellow regulators. But the tide began to turn against them. As the Lincoln County War raged on, a new player emerged on the scene. Pat Garrett, a former buffalo hunter and saloon keeper who had been elected sheriff of Lincoln County. Garrett, a shrewd and ambitious man, saw an opportunity to make a name for himself by bringing an end to the violence that had plagued the region. Garrett and Billy the Kid had known each other casually, even sharing drinks on occasion. But their paths were destined to collide, their fates intertwined in a deadly game of cat and mouse that would cement their places in Wild West legend. With the law on his side and a price on Billy's head, Garrett assembled a posse and set out to track down the elusive outlaw. He pursued Billy relentlessly, following his trail across the rugged New Mexico territory. For months, the chase continued, a dangerous dance across a vast and unforgiving landscape. Billy, always one step ahead, used his knowledge of the terrain and his network of allies to evade capture. The end came swiftly in the dead of night. After months of pursuit, Sheriff Pat Garrett finally cornered Billy the Kid at Fort Sumner, New Mexico. Billy, seeking refuge with friends, was unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Garrett and his deputies surrounded the adobe building where Billy was staying. In the darkness, a shot rang out. Billy, caught off guard, stumbled out of the shadows, his gun drawn. "Quien es?" he called out, his voice echoing in the stillness of the night. Garrett, recognizing Billy's voice, raised his own gun and fired. The bullet struck Billy in the chest, killing him instantly. He was only 21 years old. News of Billy the Kid's death spread quickly, carried on the winds of rumor and speculation. Some mourned his passing, remembering him as a folk hero, a symbol of resistance against tyranny. Others celebrated his demise, glad to be rid of the outlaw who had terrorized the region. In the years that followed, Billy the Kid's story took on a life of its own. Dime novels and ballads romanticized his exploits, transforming him into a larger-than-life figure. He became a symbol of the Wild West, his image emblazoned on everything from playing cards to whiskey bottles. The truth, as is often the case with legends, became obscured by time and embellishment. What is certain is that Billy the Kid's story continues to captivate our imaginations, a testament to the enduring power of the Western myth. Billy the Kid's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder of the brutal realities of life on the American frontier. It is a story of poverty, loss, and the seductive allure of violence. But it is also a story of courage, loyalty, and the human capacity for both good and evil. As we delve into the annals of history, seeking to unravel the enigma of Billy the Kid, we are confronted with more questions than answers. Was he a product of his environment, a young man shaped by the violence that surrounded him? Or was there a darkness within him, a thirst for bloodshed that set him apart from his peers? His story continues to inspire books, films, and countless works of art, each offering a different interpretation of the man behind the myth. He represents the wildness of the American frontier, the allure of a time when anything seemed possible, and the enduring human fascination with outlaws and anti-heroes. Seek out the truth behind the legend of Billy the Kid, you just might discover a piece of yourself along the way.